Hey there guys, how are you doing? So awesome to see your happy and smiling faces back here with me once again. It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been I'd say just over a month since I last posted a tech video, a review video or tutorial video like this. And that's because we're all living in a very different world at the moment, aren't we? One where we're locked down in our houses, we can't go out and see our friends, we can't have meetings, we can't conduct work properly. And that's what this video is all about, because a lot of us have had to adapt to having all of our meetings online via platforms like Skype and Zoom and Google Hangouts and Facebook and all sorts of things like that. And there's a whole bunch of us that have kind of got into streaming and making content and doing all those sorts of things because we have nothing else to do. On that point, what I'm going to do is I want to chat to you today about the quality of your video when you're having those calls, because on I'd say 90% of the video calls that I'm on, they look pretty damn bad and they don't need to. So at the moment I'm shooting this video on my Canon EOS R, and that's why the quality looks so good. I've got decent lighting up and the picture looks good, the framing, everything looks good. But you tend to not see that when you're using a webcam, whether it is like this Logitech C920 or the standard webcam on your laptop, or even if you're just using your cell phone for your video calls. There's no reason why your video should look bad. So I'm going to roll that intro and we're going to get into a way for you to make your video calls look a whole lot better using just things that we have lying at home. You ready? Let's do this. Okay, so we've all seen some pretty interesting things since we've been working remotely, and I'm sure we've all been way too polite to say anything about it. There is the classic up the nose shot where the laptop's webcam is down the bottom, so you're looking up the person's nose the whole time. Then there is the in your face where you've kind of got it framed this close in, it's kind of spaghetti western kind of shot. Then there's the half a head one where the guy's kind of being arty and you kind of got his nose upwards and you can kind of see the light bulbs and there's way too much headroom above his head. And then of course there's the famous ghost, which is shot with a window behind it, so either their silhouette or completely blown out because the webcam has no freaking clue what to do with the exposure. So what we're going to work on 3 simple things to help you make your video calling, your live streaming and your content creation a whole lot better. We're going to look at your background, we're going to look at your framing, and we're going to look at your lighting. Those are the 3 important things. So have a look at some of these examples that I went out and shot with my phone just for fun. Make sure your backgrounds are sort of clean and tidy. Don't shoot outside with a whole bunch of rubbish lying behind you. Don't go shoot in a dark space where you can barely see you. It's all about making sure that background behind you is aesthetically pleasing. This is my office space and everything in here I love to death, and it's something that I want you to see. It's not, my kid jumping around behind me. I mean, I love her to death, but it's not what you want in a professional video call. It's not sitting in your cupboard or outside in the garden with your trees. Or my favorite one is when people are walking around talking to me like this with their phone in their hand and I'm going, and I'm about to throw up. You need to take cognizance of what the experience is for the other person that you're on the video call with. So that is background. Try and get something that is nice, that you would like other people to see. Avoid white walls, flat against a white wall, so it looks like a police headshot. Avoid cluttered areas or cramming yourself underneath a staircase or a bookshelf, or just things that make the eyes confusing, because people aren't going to be paying attention to what you're saying. They're going to be paying attention to what the hell is going on around you. Next, let's look at framing. So framing works in a couple of ways. You can work in a third. So I prefer to work in a third, like this shot that you got now. So I'm on the right hand side and there's space on the left hand side here. So if you wanted to scroll stuff up or share a screen, there's space here for all of that to happen. Or you can go more sort of straight on like this. I prefer a 3/4 shot like this where I'm sitting in a third and there's space on this side, you can use either. There's no fast and firm rule. I prefer this. I also prefer it kind of slightly on sideways like this, because what it does is it offers a little bit more depth to the camera as opposed to being straight onto the camera like this. It gives you no depth behind you. Turning slightly side onto the camera like that gives you depth into your actual picture. Now I know this is hard for a lot of you because the spaces that you have may not be conducive, but just try and tidy them up a little bit, or see where you can get your webcam. Obviously if you've got a laptop or you're using your phone, you can go anywhere in the house. Look for a really nice pretty space and then dress that space, and that's where you do your live casts from, your streaming, your content creation, etc, etc. Now next is the hardest one of the lot, is lighting. So I'm lighting this shot at the moment. I've got a camera over there, a light over there. You can see it on my hand there. There's a light there. I've got another light sitting over here. And then I've got lighting behind me here, which lights up my background. So it is called a 3-point lighting setup. And that's what you'll find that most movies and most video creators use, is a 3-point lighting situation. So if I take that out, all of a sudden, what happens now is this part of my face becomes completely dark. If I take that out, then obviously you can't see me as well because we're taking the light out in front of me there. So you want to work with the 3-point lighting, but obviously you don't want to go out and spend a freaking fortune on lights just so you can do video Zoom calls. Okay, so there we go. We've switched over to the Logitech C922 webcam. Now, the first thing I have to point out is there is no way in hell you're ever going to get the Logitech to look as good as my Canon EOS R, but we're going to try our best to make it look as good as we can. So taking into effect all the things we've talked about so far, our background, our lighting, our framing, I'm sitting roughly in the same place. Obviously I can't get the Logitech exactly in the same spot as my Canon, but there we go. It's close enough. It's roughly the same shot as we were looking at earlier on. I have changed shirts because I had a little bit of a coffee incident. We won't go into that, but sorry about that. Okay, we're still running the 2 lights. So I've still got my aperture AW light over there. I've got another light running over there. So we're going to turn these 2 lights off and let's see what our shot looks like. These are phenomenal lights, by the way. Aperture make some phenomenal products. I've got a full review coming up on this light very, very soon. That's not the point of this video, though. We're turning that light off, and we're going to kill the little one we got over here. Boom. Okay. So this is what we'd be looking at if we were just shooting. We put the webcam on, and now we're going to have our Skype call. As you can see, this is not a great shot. I'm too dark. We need lighting. You've got to take that into effect. So what I'm going to do is, you don't have to go and spend all the money on these fancy lights that I have. What I've done is I've gone and pillaged my wife's bedside table lamp and the Velociraptor's little unicorn lamp. I need to be careful with that. And we're going to try and create that same lighting that we just had now with just using these 2 lights. So I'm going to take this one over here and I'm going to go plug it in just behind the web camera and off to the one side of it. Okay, there we go. So light is plugged in and boom, there we go. Already a whole lot better. I actually quite like that just with the one light. That's not bad. Oh, I've also got, one normal light up in the roof, but that's something that you would have always. You can also turn that off and then try and light it around that, but play around with a couple of ideas. Now, so what's wrong with this shot now is that the background is kind of flat. So I'm going to take the bedroom lamp and I'm going to climb under. Okay, so there we go. Bedroom lamp in, underneath. And I'm just going to switch that on in the background over there. So what it's done now is it's created a nice mood behind me. It's lit up the background, so it's separating me now from the background. It's giving that depth I was talking about. If I go 3/4, we got this nice shot, or you can even go 3/4 this way into the camera there, just giving you that distance, that depth into your video. So already looking a whole lot better. If you wanted to, and you were using a normal webcam or your laptop, you could take your cell phone as well just pop that in over there. And as you can see, that's just lighting up that side of my face over there. So just using these three simple things that I had lying around the house, I've created what I'd call a pretty damn good looking image. Quality obviously is not going to be the same as the 5D, so please don't drop comments down below saying it's not the same quality. Obviously it's not going to be the same quality because this is a 2,000 Rand camera versus like a 60,000 Rand camera, so there's no way you're going to get the two. If you want to use your EOS camera, if you've got a Canon EOS camera and you want to use that for using, for Zoom and those kind of meetings, I've got a tutorial coming up on that in the next couple of days on how you can use your actual Canon camera as a webcam instead of going out and buying one of these Logitech cameras. Right, let's jump back onto the EOS R and then we'll talk about our results. Okay, so there we go. Fairly simple tips, nothing hugely mind-blowing. I hope you'll give it a shot. And if you do, please do let me know down in the comments down below if it makes any difference for you whatsoever. I think the biggest things are just looking after those backgrounds and cleaning up the spaces that you work in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It has been a long time. I was just having a look a little bit earlier on today. It's been 2 months since I've put out any sort of review or tutorial video, and I'm very sorry about that. I have a whole bunch of stuff planned. I've got the new Canon 850D. I've got some new lenses. I've got that light I was showing you guys earlier on, that aperture light. I've got a whole bunch of toys that have arrived for me to play with. So be prepared for a whole bunch of videos to be rolling your way in the very near future. And that's it. Drop some comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you're watching it on Facebook, share it out, and I will chat to you guys in the very, very near future. Bye.